We are here with the famous Charles Henry talking about future bikes. Behind us is an amazing future bike that you have developed, yes?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's called the 441.
Sure.
And, yeah, please tell me the story of the 441.
Well, 441 is not just a number. It is a number that means 4 wheels for one person. So this is a very simple story. And the emphasis lays on the 4 wheels. And I personally think that 4 wheels is the future of velomobiling, since you have a lot of customers that we can't reach with just 3 wheels. Mm-hmm. 3-wheeler is something that is well established in our little circle, but we're turning around that circle for a long time now. And there are some escapes, like when you want to develop something new, you go rather for a 4-wheeler than for a 3-wheeler. With 3-wheelers, since they're so well established, you can't do that much mistakes. We since we are the second one who is like the Quattro Velo, which is a very, very nice velomobile, but it weighs a little bit much. It's bulkier also, and there are a lot of people who would like to have such a bike, but you need some motor also probably to help. Since with 4 wheels, we're talking about 3 kilos more or 4 kilos more, and it has to be also more stable. And I would like to show how we have made some solution around it.
Okay. So how about we start taking a look at what some of the innovations that you have put together? Yeah?
Sure.
All right.
When you try to build a vehicle, you have to ask yourself what purpose it is for. So we thought it might be something between sporty and all day use. And so what you go for anyway is the low weight and the aerodynamics. So talking about aerodynamics, it is, since we start here in front, it is the leading edge, we call it. And the leading edge, it has to be very round. And so the streaming will follow anyway. If you make it very round, it will follow anyway. You're not engaged with more resistance when it is round. Mm-hmm. If you make it too edgy with side winds, you're gonna have some problems. And since we want to lower the weight, we have to make it as short as possible. So it gets a little bit bulky. It looks like a big fat dolphin, let's say. And so we go a little bit further. Here we've got the front wheels. Front wheels is a front suspension that we changed from 2CV, the Citroën, which has got some longitudinal props that move up and down. But there we have, when it went through the bends, you have a lot of movement there, which comes from the lateral forces. So we had to change that. So this was my last work I did on the vehicle to improve it. And what we learned is when you have side winds, you can check here what happens now in the side wind. It pushes against here, and it doesn't move.
Very stable.
It's very stable. So when we want to address when we want to become more stable with a velomobile, it really helps when you have 4 wheels instead of 3. Mm-hmm. But with the front wheels, you have also the steering, which is being pushed by road, which is bent. We have a bent road, and it always searches when the steering is not perfect. It searches the outer
on the other side,
the other side of the road.
The crown of the road. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when you run on the road and you have strong winds, let's say in Holland or even in Switzerland, we have also strong winds. It helps to keep the vehicle as round as possible. And on the other side here, the streaming should disattach. We didn't study that perfectly, but since the steering has improved, the whole behavior of the vehicle has improved on the road, which is the main thing. Now we're stepping a little bit more backwards.
All right, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. We are here with the rear part of the vehicle, which is still the most serious problem with aerodynamics. And I'm going to explain why. We make some, when you have the front wheels, you could cover it. But this will not help you in everyday use, since you have a lot of stones falling into it. And you have also the problem that when you have snow, it is trapped in the wheel casing. And when you don't have any covers, it really falls out from itself. So, well, I was talking about styling, and styling is very important, not only for yourself, but also for your potential customers. But since we are a little bit, let's say, we're not the fastest on the road, we want to rather to imitate something real classic. And classic means that you have to have straight lines and long curves. And this ends then all in a very, very low backside. And you've got here a flat plate here. And then you have all of a sudden the idea that you want to try out how that works in reality.
Sure.
So we found a stretch on a road that goes really straight for 5 kilometers. And what we did is we rode with 40 kilometers per hour constantly. And then we push with some power meter. Front, we have some pedal power meters, and they work quite well, and they are quite comparable. And if you do a lot of these sessions, going 5 kilometers up, 5 kilometers back, and you don't have any wind, this is the precondition.
Yeah.
Then you end up having a lot of data that you put in a spreadsheet, and then you can find out about your CD as long as you know what your rolling resistance is. So what we found out is actually it has a comparable CD value like a car, which is quite nice for a Cabrio. But if you compare that with let's say with the M9, then you'll end up having double as much air resistance, which is, well, you have to judge for yourself what you want to say about that.
Right?
But for me, as a rider, an old rider, I have to say, but
and a racer.
And a racer, of course.
Right, let's keep that in mind.
An old rider, but a young racer.
Okay,
no,
right.
It's hard.
Right. Okay.
So I was not satisfied with that.
Okay.
What I did is I got myself, and this was a quite challenging thing, a CFD program.
Oh wow.
CFD open foam. And you have to do a lot of reading about that. You have to listen a lot of YouTube videos, and you'll find out finally how it is operated. And we did that for a certain case, which was taken from a motorcycle. And then you can find out you're sticking, instead of the motorcycle, sticking your own vehicle, which is notably being planned by CAD program. So the CAD gives you a full envelope of what is outside exposed to the air.
Okay.
And so we found out that there's a chance to improve that for more than we leave out some 30% with the overall resistance when we adapt. I was just talking about the aerodynamics now, not about the rolling resistance.
Yeah.
We can improve that for 30%. That means it has just 70% of the aerodynamic of the air resistance as we see it now.
Okay.
Which is pretty much of an improvement.
It's a great improvement.
And this leads us somewhere in between the it's much better than some other four-wheelers, but it is still above that what you could reach with a three-wheeler.
Okay. Charles, let's take a look at how you've designed the wheel pants here. What do we got?
Well, the idea of having these wheel pants is just to keep to that idea of having a classic vehicle which is covered like the Duesenberg or something like that, which covers it all, but it has to be disattachable just to remove all these little pebbles that jump into it, or the snow in Switzerland. So let's
take a look.
I'll show that. Okay, we just take that off here. And this one is basically just attached by two magnets here, which are pretty strong though. And these magnets doesn't prevent it from falling down, but they just keep it in position. We screw it on. And so what you see here is the rear wheel, which can then be also disattached in case of puncture.
Right, so you have access. Easy access now, and it's a great design.
Exactly, and they just weigh, they are so super light. And I think they are also something that has to be taken into account when you go to production. because they're very, very expensive to produce. Though.
Right. It's all done by hand right now, right?
It's still done by hand, and you will end up always doing that by hand. But this is something quite complicated that is fully attached here. And if I still snap it on again.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
That's it, huh?
Easy. All right, Charles, how about having a look on the inside? How does this all work? Let's see how it opens up.
Yeah, why not? So this is something that we really thought a long time about it, just to improve the way you get into these vehicles. Like when you just try to slide in here, it is so narrow, and people start complaining about. There are some real good artists in that, but we try to improve that a little bit. So I snap it open here, push it up.
These are the snaps here that hold it. Yeah.
Yeah, and notably these snaps have been made with nylon, with polyamide, and we just there's a good chance that you can do these things all with computer, and then you send it to some factory, somewhere abroad. I don't want to know it if it's in China or Vietnam. You can also send it to in Europe. Mm-hmm. We'll do that. We'll concentrate on European production, of course. But these ones they just cost something like $5.
Okay.
And you can make it yourself. And when you hear about the sound here,
click, click,
click,
and
click,
there.
and it is stable. It can't be opened by wind. Even if it falls over, it won't open. Huh?
Nice. All right, let's pop that open, and maybe we can look at the hinging mechanism.
Right.
That looks interesting. Carbon fiber.
This looks very, very big though, and it has just been showed that it is sufficient to have such a small friction plate here inside. So we are not using the whole big thing here. It wouldn't be necessary to keep that open.
Okay.
Well, some advantage of the four-wheeler is surely that you can not only put some big cases with beers in, like it is also. You can do that, but it is also feasible just to have some single backpack, and you just stick it in. And the main thing that we wanted to, just something that really allows you to do that, is not having the chain in the center. And some of our competitors, I'm not competing with them, so this is just a prototype.
Yes.
Like they have the chain in the middle. So we try to put that obstacle in the rear, in the trunk here, out of the way. So you won't see a chain here because the chain is hidden inside the vehicle.
Is it offset? Or
it is offset.
Just below?
The drive chain is it consists of one primary chain, and there's no tensioner here. It is just you can move the pedalery to and fro, front-wise and back-wise. You can accommodate some people with a size of around 2 meters in here, just pushing that forward. And as I said, it is very round, and there's enough space for all the feet.
Yes.
What we have here is the chain goes to the middle here, and you see I'm pushing that now backwards. And there's an intermediary stage here on a pole that goes in the outside, and there you've got two liners, two longitudinal props here. This is part of the structure which gives it a structural rigidity that is necessary for a four-wheeler, and so gives also a chance to hide the chain here. And there the chain has to be tensioned here. You see here there's a tensioner somewhere hidden. But the tensioner is not in the back, but it is here in the central part. So there's a tensioner who tensions the chain in parallel. It goes forward, and so it ensures that the chain is always tensioned. Mm-hmm. And in the back, we don't have any chain tensioner. So we dismounted these two functions. We don't have any derailleur in the back. We rather have some fork that guides the chain to and fro.
Yeah. We've seen the inline derailleur system
exactly.
Like on the Hilgo, right?
The Hilgo's
that
got
kind
something
of thing?
similar. Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah.
The idea behind is when you have 20-inch wheels, you don't want to have a derailleur that comes out, that sticks out in the dirt, and it gets entangled when you drive along a road and things like that.
Good.
So we got it straight with that fork, just pushing the chain to and fro. And this is one thing that is not yet perfect.
Okay.
And you need a lot of time and to do a mock-up to see how that works. And we are still trying to improve that, which is really necessary before you go out, even to produce a small quantity of these vehicles.
Sure. Now, one other thing I notice in here, Charles, that seems unusual. I see a tiller, like you would see in many velomobiles, but the end of the tiller looks a little unusual to me, almost like a steering wheel. What is that?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another innovation. Tell me.
Well, we thought, since we're making a four-wheeler, we try to invite all the car drivers who have the habit of not pushing a handlebar, but rather turning some steering wheel, as we call it. And then we've got still these Formula One steering wheels, which are quite appealing to me.
Yeah.
And we equipped that in a way that we adapted that to, so we had to find out the right angle. And there's a very simple thing. You can also send it to the 3D printer. And the 3D printing with polyamide is very, very solid. This is hollow. And the thing is, you can change a lot the outer shape according to your wishes quite easily with the CAD.
Good. And yeah, keep going. And you can get the width.
So this is basically some sort of tiller. You can move it to and fro, and probably you could also attach it here with some sort of something clamp or to retain it.
Yeah. Nice.
And
pretty good.
And you see
radius of turn.
It's got quite a nice radius, so you can turn between two obstacles of 8.5 meters. Even if you have, like here, you see the 42 millimeters. They're basically 42, but now on these rims they are 45.
Okay.
So the aim was to be able to mount some 50 millimeters tires on it.
All right.
So it gives you much more stability also, and they roll quite nicely. It's not my favorite to do electrics. I don't know that much about it.
Okay.
I'm rather the one who's talking about aerodynamics and things like that.
Right.
I can't even do the structure. The structure has been built by Birkenstock bicycles.
Mm-hmm.
I have to emphasize. The thing you see here wouldn't look the same if I would have done it myself. Yeah. So you better have your friends and your companies that you know and that you rely on. And the whole structural thing, the structural work, the handcrafting was done by Birkenstock Bicycle, Speed Bikes, Points CES.
Yes, good. Nice proposal there, yeah. Okay.
So what I still want to talk about is another friend of mine, Wolfgang Schröppel, who's doing the electronics.
Okay.
Since I said I'm not expert in electronics,
yeah,
I know how to stick in the battery. But then, moreover, we had the final aim to have just one single piece, switch, and it's something like a joystick. So it's not for playing any games. But
can you get that from there?
Sure, we do.
You got this joystick?
This is a joystick here, and if I push it up here, you see there's the front light coming on. So having a nice front light is very important for velomobiles. Mm-hmm. Not even that you get aware, that people see you on the road. The main thing is actually not to disturb other people being in the traffic. And if I just switch it on, you'll see here there's that really small angle in which this light is directed. Mm-hmm. Now we have something like 20 watts on, and if I switch that again, we have here now 10 watts, and now we have 5 watts. And the thing is, the whole electronic guides this process You don't have another lamp. It is just the whole thing is in the microprocessor in here.
So it adjusts the wattage that's going to the lights, and that handles the entire
handles it all.
intensity of the lights.
Right.
Nice.
So it can still have some other lights being operated. Now there's that front light, which is a security light that is constantly on. But if you use the blinker, or what is it called?
Yeah.
Blinker. You see the front light stopped, and it's just the blinker on. This is according to your street regulations.
Yeah.
So you want really to follow that as long as we can.
Of course.
Now on the other side is the same, and you see also in the back there's the blinker. And if you push it on both sides, you see both blinkers, so it's something like an alarming system if you got stuck somewhere.
A hazard light.
Okay, yeah. And what we did here is also, Wolfgang did it, wasn't myself as I said. He just arranged that there's very, very low current in here, and it goes straight to the microprocessor. So it's a microprocessor which switches on the leading current. There's the strong current that makes the light, these 20 watts I was talking about.
Okay.
So what we still have is, there's a, now you see.
You made him jump.
Yes, and the echo you also heard.
Yeah. Right, from the other side of the building.
Yeah, right. So just to be back to the front of the vehicle, let's talk about ventilation probably.
The ventilation, yes.
So what we have here is the main opening of the ventilation. When you want to build a very fast vehicle, it's not important how big this frontal part is, as much as you, when you just let the air come in, it is regulated by the way it can come out, of course, and you have a lot of pressure inside the vehicle that you can build up. So it has to be quite big, just in case that you drive very slowly. And there the ventilation, there's a tube that goes straight up here. And we call it the python because it looks like a snake.
Python, yes.
Python, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And so what we finally would like to do is still to have another tube here that goes straight into your face.
True.
When you want to get rid of heat, you have to cool your face and your neck and your throat.
Yes.
And everything else, like legs, is not so important.
Right.
So I hope that is well ventilated, and in case we could also mount a ventilator into it. But we'll see how we'll end up having next summer, which is hopefully a little bit more sunny than we have it now.
Is it a year, a couple of years? What do you think?
Well, we start continuing building a second one of these vehicles, which is notably will be 3 or 4 kilos less heavy. We'll improve the on and the aerodynamics. And so this vehicle can be used as an electric vehicle, I think. We have also the chance, I didn't show that, but I have a motor that can be equipped, will be equipped within 2 weeks' time, I think, from now. And so we're going to see how that works out. That's one thread to follow.
Okay.
But I'm afraid that when I just want to push it with my own muscles, like we are calling ourselves human-powered vehicles.
That's right.
And so we put a lot of emphasis on our own power. It has to be more lightweight. So we're doing that a second prototype of that kind, which looks a little bit different. It won't be that antique anymore. It's not Greek anymore. It is rather futuristic.
Sure.
And so after having that, we're going to measure that. What we are going to measure with my power meter pedals, again on the stretch around the lake. I will find out if it's really better. Then we'll dare to go for a smaller series, I hope.
Okay.
And we're talking about these smaller series.
Like
and
a prototype's a few out
It's a
there,
prototype, and I guess it will be appealing to a lot of people.
I think so.
And the thing is, I invested a lot of money into that vehicle just to get it to that stage.
Yeah.
So from now on, I promise to myself that
don't go crazy.
Don't go crazy about that. It's
Right.
not like investing money.
Yeah.
It's rather to have something nice that people also can afford. And I've got something like 3, 6, 7 people who really want to buy such a vehicle at a quite feasible price, let's say.
Right.
I'm not talking about the price now, but I'm talking about these 5 vehicle series. And I think it is important that you try out with some people who are really passionate.
Right.
So they can report on you what can be improved.
The test pilots, essentially, yeah?
Exactly.
And then you get the information back, and you can improve the vehicle further.
I can improve, and that's very necessary if you want to go for a, let's say, 50 vehicle series.
Yeah.
I was talking to some people from velomobile world, notably to Jan.
Yes.
And he said to me, if you want to make such a vehicle, make it simpler. And we have anyway to make new molds.
New molds. Yeah.
If you want to make a new mold,
Yeah.
we do that anyway because it is too much of a risk to ruin the old molds.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 50 vehicles.
Okay. All
And
right.
so if you don't want to have 50 customers being not satisfied with yourself standing in your garden, and
So
you get yourself a dog.
Right, that's what you need. All right, that's fair enough. I get it. So, all right, well, amazing developments here, and I love what you've done. This is going to appeal to a lot of people, and so many people are already interested in the work that you do. So, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
I wanted to thank our amazing sponsors here at the Laidback Bike Report at Spezi 2023. Who are they? Let's see, Radical Design, HP Velotechnic, Bent Revolution. Let's see, we got Jersey Bents, Falco E Motors. We've got TerraCycle.
Yes.
Let's see, Connecticut Yankee Peddler. And anybody else? Andrew at Trailside Trikes. I
Can't
think
forget
is
him.
No, for sure not. So, guys, thank you so much for supporting us at the Laidback Bike Report here at Spezi 2023. All right, guys, go on by. That's amazing. Look at them.